So there's so many references to these iconic horror movies, obviously, in the film, but it also feels like you revisiting your literal youth, your upbringing in the suburbs, and then your your creative beginnings at Disney. What was kind of attractive to you about revisiting the past that way?
Well, I think it's all those things, because all those things were important. And this one was such a memory piece for me. It was easy to kind of go back and think about, that thing with the relationship with the dog, your dog, but then also your environment, your the other kids in school. I tried to base everything on real memories and the kind of weirdness of certain teachers and even the environment and the setting. And, the whole horror movie thing, because I always remember growing up in like Burbank, which doesn't like a horror movie setting, but liking all those horror movies, I could always relate things to certain things, like the neighbors being the angry villagers, like in Frankenstein. So there were always references to how I grew up and my love of those films. So it just felt kind of natural to kind of just use all those memories and put it into one thing.
There's a great symmetry in it too, because it's the black and white and the stop motion and these references to early cinema, but it's also 3D,
That's
and
why I
really
was excited
modern.
about that. Because I love black and white, and I love stop motion, and the idea of seeing that, because also with a stop motion film, there's something about the 3D element that makes you feel like you're actually on a stop motion set, because it's real. And you feel like the texture of what the artist put into it. So those three elements for me just sort of help highlight the sort of artistry that the people have put into the movie, which is an important, also emotional element to it.
Well, yeah, because it reflects kind of like the thematic symmetry too. With
it's like bringing an inanimate object to life, which is
Yeah.
Frankenstein. It's stop motion. They're kind of the same thing.
Yeah, and the balance, even the dog being named Persephone, I loved that because it was the balance of the light and the dark. But you're bringing in some old cast members too from your previous films with Catherine O'Hara, Martin Landau, Martin Short, and of course Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
And Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands in particular meant so much to me growing up because I really related to that sense of alienation.
Yeah.
But what's cool here is that alienation, or the misunderstood monster, is set against this pure relationship of iconic, a boy and his dog.
Yeah.
So is this you kind of coming full circle?
Well, I think the interesting thing about kids, and I remember this feeling, and I try to sort of relate it in this film, is like, probably relating to the Victor character. I think most kids, you feel sort of alone and isolated, and I think, and people treat you like you're weird or something. But at the same time, like, I always felt quite normal, So Victor's slightly on the outside, but he's also normal, and that's why I also kind of made all the other kids strange, because I remember thinking about all the other kids in school seeming really strange to me, and so. But the thing about that feeling that you have, if you probably talk to any kid, I think it's a fairly universal feeling. I think most kids probably feel that sort of loneliness or isolation or misunderstood or, lonely. And so that, to me, I think is something that a lot of kids feel, and I remember certainly feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. But then there's also the potential for this love, which I think is so beautiful
Well,
in the
it's such
film.
a pure thing. I mean, the whole thing with your first, like a pet, it's unconditional. You don't get that with people, but that, if you connect with a pet, it's like your first love, and so that's why it's always such a, traumatic thing, something happens to them, and it's your kind of first experience with those issues, and so that's why I want to sort of present them in a slightly more positive way and with basically a good message.
Thank you so much. I love the movie. Can't wait to see it in AMC screens.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button below, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and join us at amctheaters.com, and watch one of our other AMC Movie News videos below.